And let's bring you live visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit in Jakarta. As you can see, the Kite Festival is currently on, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with Indonesia President Joko Widodo, is inaugurating the Kite Festival in Jakarta, which starts from today. And this is the 70th year of India-Indonesia ties. Indonesia is part of a three-nation tour of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He will be following up his Indonesia visit with a visit to Malaysia and Singapore. This is a part of Narendra Modi's Southeast Asia reach. As you can see, these are visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Indonesia President Joko Widodo flying a kite. The Kite Festival, as we all know, is an integral part of Indonesia's cultural heritage. And this year's kites have been specially designed with pictures of Indian and Hindu deities featuring from Mahabharata and Ramayana. You can see visuals of the kites which depict Indian deities featuring from the Hindu mythology, with epics from Mahabharata to Ramayana. These kites have been decorated with gods and deities from both the epics. As we all know, India and Indonesia share a rich cultural history. And it is today that the Kite Festival actually kick-starts in Indonesia. The Kite Festival, of course, is an integral part of Indonesia's rich cultural heritage. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Jakarta on Tuesday, which was yesterday. It was the first stop of his three-nation visit to the maritime neighbors, Indonesia, Malaysia and Singapore. The 5-day visit is aimed at enhancing India's relations and engagements, strategic and business. And to do that, there is nothing better but to reach out through the cultural passage. And coming to Indonesia, of course, India and Indonesia share a rich heritage of culture and religion. We all know that Hinduism and Buddhism are two integral religions in Indonesia, and they have been borrowed from India. And later during the day, the Prime Minister's day in Jakarta will be rounded off with a banquet hosted by the Indonesian President. And you can already see these visuals of Indonesian President and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi flying the kite. Clearly, kite flying is part of their diplomacy. Earlier during the day, exchange of key agreements took place during the delegation level talks when Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached out to Indonesia and its President as part of India's Act East policy, where he also referred to SAGAR, an acronym for security and growth for all in the region, and said that it binds beautifully with President Widodo's maritime policy. He also emphasized on the need to strengthen bilateral ties, not only in terms of trade, but also tourism, technology, space and defense. He expressed his concern over growing terrorism and referred to the recent attacks in Indonesia which took place and took lives of many innocent people. He assured Indonesia that India stands with Indonesia in these times, and that India and Indonesia need to combat terrorism at a global level with an expedited solution. That was earlier during the day when the delegation talks took place. And now you can see the Prime Minister is at the kite exhibition, which was inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi along with Indonesia President. They also took a shot at flying kites. As we mentioned earlier, these kites depict Hindu deities from the two epics, Indian epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana. PM Modi is also expected to address the Indian diaspora in Indonesia. And this tour is a part of India's Act East policy, where, and you can see these are live visuals coming in of Prime Minister Narendra Modi shaking hands with President Joko Widodo of Indonesia. It's a firm handshake taking place in Jakarta. He's also accompanied by a host of Indonesian dignitaries. Defense and trade have been the top focus of the talks that have just taken place. He also condemned the terror attacks in Indonesia, which happened recently, where several innocent lives were lost. As we all know, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has an affinity for all musical instruments, and you can see he's just striking the gong at the moment. It was Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Jakarta inaugurating the Kite Festival. We will run you through all the developments as Prime Minister's schedule moves forward.